Now we take time to the time we've been waiting for as we move into Reverend Jeep's message for today. Thank you, Reverend Jeep.
Great song to move to, part of my practice. I'd love to just let the music move me, so thank you for that. So before I read my poetic chronicle of gratitude, I think it would be good for us to just take a look at some of the traits that have certainly kept me from gratitude, and perhaps pinpoint pervasive entitlement that is inherited. Now, what keeps me from gratitude and thanksgiving? Is it mindlessness or other mindsets that create fear and worry? Entitlement and emotional paralysis? The seeds of ungratefulness. Ralph Waldo Emerson is considered the leader of the Transcendentalist movement in the early 1800s, and he drew heavily on his learnings from the Hindu Vedic tradition. And he tells us 5 great enemies to peace inhabit us: avarice, ambition, envy, anger, and pride. If those enemies were to be banished, we should infallibly enjoy perpetual peace. So all those enemies to peace lead us into some kind of conflict, both inner and outer. And conflict leads to unhappiness, which is a byproduct of ingratitude. So all these factors, avarice, ambition, envy, anger, and pride, block my flow to gratitude. Let's look at Merriam-Webster's definition of these factors. Avarice is a strong desire to get or to have money, fancy word for greed. Now, in my 30s, I was driven by avarice. And behind that was the fear of not having enough money in my older years. And that attitude, it embedded and unbalanced my approach to finances and certainly my relationships. And I was always the one who had more money than my partners, except a couple of times. And then it seemed acceptable to expect more from those relationships. And of course, it wasn't. And through hard look at my relationships to money and an appreciation for what I had and have, I realized that money is not the goal. Money is a tool. And security comes from my belief that all is well. And while taking care of my finances, I have the belief all is well. And I'm in the care of my higher power. I live in abundance. Even in lean times, I have always met my rent or my mortgage. And I appreciate being able to enjoy my life, even if I live on a shoestring. And since I learned those lessons, I'm aligned with my relationship to money. I have enough and live within my means. The needless worry that keeps me from gratitude is released, and so is greed. Now, I've talked about greed in terms of money, but avarice applies to other beliefs or states of mind. Ambition, an eager or strong desire to achieve something such as fame or power. In my earlier years, humility hadn't yet tempered my ambition. I was driven to be recognized and recognizable. And in the East Village performance milieu, I achieved that, and nearly to my ruin. Sex and sexual conquest were my leaders. And this attitude and behavior, it just led to repeated humiliations that brought me to my spiritual knees. Ambition had masqueraded as the greedy need to be recognized and sexual conquest. Another form of greed is envy, the feeling of wanting to have what someone else has. As I've aged, when I see an ex-lover who is enjoying the fruits of her labor, I've been envious. I mean, I'd like to live in Paris or Buenos Aires for a few months a year. And when I've been faced with this envy, I've learned to stop, to rejig my attitude to one of gratitude, to get my head on straight, and to release envy. Send it to Spirit. I invite my open-hearted happiness for the person I envy, and I begin to feel admiration. I look at what I do have rather than what I don't have. And today I cherish the beauty of my life, and that leads me to grateful thoughts and actions. Gratitude stimulates me to make a plan for a positive outcome, or at least to live with a peaceable mind. And sometimes gratitude means that I give up one thing in order to accomplish something else. And the benefits far outweigh my loss of my ego. Anger is an emotion characterized by antagonism towards someone or something I feel has deliberately done me wrong. Now, whenever I hear a should or supposed to in my mental chatter, I'm headed down the anger rabbit hole. Whenever I hear a should or supposed to, usually I'm not living my life, but that of someone else's beliefs and paradigms. So I try not to should on myself. Shoulds manufacture expectations, and when I entertain an expectation mindset, it upends my gratitude and sets me up in an anger trap. An expectation seems to hinge on my entitlement. I think I should, or you should, fill in the blank. And if the expectation doesn't pan out, then I'm a victim, and then resentment and anger. So one of the tactics I use to translate expectations is to go into open-ended desires. I trade my entitlement for a desired direction, something to divert my imagination. I can think about, I can contemplate, pray about whatever I would like to follow. I muse about how I could get there, how to devise a viable plan. Is it reasonable? Can I put the necessary actions into effect? Oh, but what about pride? A high or inordinate opinion of one's own dignity, importance, merit, or superiority, whether it's in my mind or displayed in my conduct, etc. Pridefulness, many times, this grandiose opinion of myself, is actually camouflage to low self-esteem. I could be prideful with modesty. I could appear humble when really I was just manipulating the situation. The fact that I actually do have talents is beside the gratitude point. I have had an ambitious need to be distinctive, yet afraid to step into my empowerment. Now that's an uncomfortable self-constructed prison. Gratitude is humbling. As I tend my gratefulness, pride seems to disintegrate. Emerson also said, cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you and give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. Now that's an interesting statement. Include all things in your gratitude. That includes conflicts, negative thoughts and feelings and actions and experiences. Why? Because when I honor these things, I respect that everything has brought me to where and who I am and who you are today. Because Emerson said, all things have contributed to your advancement, I throw all my negative and positives into the higher power hopper. Or as spiritual teacher Ram Dass has said, it's all grist for the mill. So having said this, here is my gratitude, a poetic chronicle. I am so grateful for all that I have. Indifferent to the negative thoughts writ on my emotional iPad. I am grateful for the sink full of dirty dishes, for not living in turmoil or constant wishes, for a closet that holds my worn out shoes, for being able to play a game and lose, grateful for the blossoming of my container plants and the industrious march of the ants. Grateful for the annoying, twisted watering hose and for the thread to mend my undersized clothes. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I'm grateful to be with my 99-year-old mother, embracing her lessening time, knowing there will never be another, for her care and love, despite our relationship strife, that has added and subtracted to who I am in life. I'm grateful for my ex-spouse and defunct marriage, another way I am transported in a relationship carriage. Thankful for the gentle, kind, generous, love of my life girlfriend, transformed I didn't think I'd ever be loved or love again. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. Just like when treating an infectious dog with mange, I'm so grateful that my erroneous perceptions do change. For the freedom to move beyond assumptions, for losing the lust for more and more consumptions, and for being willing to meet life at all its junctions, and for this life encompassing all of its malfunctions. I'm grateful for a mind to be mindful, so grateful for letting go of being prideful, for deeply appreciating all my precious resources, including body, mind, and soul, humanity's three sources. I am so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for my hands and my feet, grateful for living a life that's replete with issues, situations, and challenges, and for outside support and a mind that manages. For my mind's wounds that cause irrational offenses, for movement beyond, thanks to soulful influences. Grateful to jettison beliefs that freeload my thoughts, for abandoning the feelings of nevers and oughts. Every day I get to choose to lose paralyzing emotional constriction. Yes, filled with tests, but with less spiritual friction and more conviction. I'm so grateful. I am so, so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. Grateful for surviving the treatment of cancer, the illness that brought me to embrace my inspired answer. Giving myself over and over to the space between the lines, living with uncertainty, unknowing the wheres or the whys, encircling the mystery of the riddle, finding the solution of living in the middle, and grateful for when I think my life is forsaking, I now know it's the beginning of an advanced awakening. These are the obstacles, these are the hurdles. Grateful for removing my soul's spiritual girdle, accepting myself and you with all our warts and scars, all the glorious gifts of life lived with spiritual handlebars. I'm so grateful. I'm so very grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful for all that I have. So grateful to turn the tap and out comes water, for having a life where I'm not sent to slaughter, or living in a raging war-torn X zone, or seeing the explosion of a no longer safe home. For having an imperfect, dysfunctional family, and for happily exchanging my newfound family. Grateful to afford paper, pen, wood, and clay, and for the time I get to scratch, hammer, and play. So grateful for imperfection, for the patina of wisdom of age, the wabi-sabi of seeing and touching the footprints of a sage. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I am so grateful for all that I have. I know the distress of vagueness and deep indecision, of being despondently bereft of any kind of vision, like a mental IV filled with bedlam and confusion, but gratefully moved to find peace and even a fusion. I'm grateful that my heart softens with each of life's blows, that standing in surrender there's richness and even glow. I'm grateful for my legs that carry me to high ground. There's nothing better than knowing I'll be found. Maybe lost, maybe shipwrecked, but always grateful for the lessons learned that make me less hateful. No longer crushed by the primal fallout of sexual abuse, for no longer sensing my life is strangled with a noose. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. And when I am calm, cool, collected, in the flow, I'm grateful for all that I know, that there is love in everything and everyone. Even when I think I'm alone or being shunned, my lifelong job is to find and be the best, to find the best and the bright, shiningest spiritual minds, to accompany me on the journey, wherever that may be, resting in the comfort that you steadfastly hold me in all the ups and downs, the disruption and the chaos, the calm and the peace. I thank you for your presence, for your hearts holding a space that offers unsurpassed solace and spirited kinship. I'm grateful for our gentle and fierce Unitarian fellowship. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. And I leave you with these musings. If gratitude is the antidote to greed, ambition, envy, anger, and pride, how do you find gratitude in your life? Do you transform misfortune as grist for the mill? Do you cultivate the habit of being grateful? Do you banish the enemies of peace? Are you aware of any elements of entitlement in your thinking? And do you know that everything is possible, that we are all connected? Are you 100% accountable for your thoughts and behavior? Do you foster an attitude of gratitude? And so live and let live. Live to give and live in the now, because our time is now. And so it is. Amen.
If you like this video, please like us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click on the bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. Thank you.